ideology still is there. It still exists. These were true believers. They didn't give up just because they lost the war. These were Nazis. These were dyed-in-the-wool believers, true believers. So when they fled over the rat lines, they took their beliefs with them. They lost the war, but they won the peace. Since World War II, the amount of influence of Nazi ideology around the world has not decreased at all. I mean, if anything, it's increased. We may be looking at Argentina again, as the location for the bell. If the bell did escape captivity, as it were, I believe that it, or its technology anyway, wound up somewhere in Latin America. The space program was largely, or the godchild, you might say, of the Nazi space program. We brought over Walter Dornberger and Wernher von Braun and hundreds of other Nazi scientists of them to work on our space program at a time before NASA was created. We were developing this technology using Nazi scientists. And what happened? The infamous Roswell crash. That some of the debris from that crash was taken to Wright-Patterson, and Wright-Patterson is where our Nazi scientists were located. They had just moved to Wright-Patterson in the same week as the debris was brought over from Roswell to Ohio to Wright-Patterson. So we have this bizarre Nazi influence in the space program and in the UFO program attached to the space program.
And I began to realize that the Nazi Party was not a political party, the way we understand political parties, but that the Nazi Party was a cult. And if you look at it from that point of view, you can understand the true nature of this kind of evil, because the Nazi Party they're not going to go away simply because they lost the war.
And then we have the assassination of the president, who's now throwing all this money behind an attempt to go to the moon, and who's funneling all sorts of cash into NASA, but who was at the same time considered to be weak on communism. Now, the biggest enemy to the Nazis were the communists. Perhaps that's the connection that we've missed. There might have been a deeper, darker motive behind this. People who worked with Lee Harvey Oswald at Riley Coffee eventually all found jobs with NASA or with NASA-related industries in the space program. I mean, these are people who were just clerks.